a multifaceted approach to pain relief. Introduction: necessity of extended treatment. Welcome to Immediate and Extended Relief, the second part of the Natural Sciatica Relief System. In this part of our program, we're going to teach you some specific techniques to alleviate your pain. Some of these methods are specifically designed for those of us who suffer from the 4 common causes of sciatica, which we defined and identified in the first part of our program. But others can give you the immediate relief that you need, even if you're unsure of the immediate cause of your pain. As you begin part 2 of our program, it's important for you to remember 2 things. First, you need to recognize that the information on this disc may provide you with almost complete relief in a very short period of time. However, that does not mean that you are done with our program. You need to complete the final half of our program, which addresses and corrects your muscle imbalances. Second, you need to know that if you don't feel a significant reduction in your pain in the first few days of using our program, that this is perfectly normal and that it's not time to give up yet. Your health is worth the patience and perseverance it takes to complete the natural sciatica relief system by designing your individual relief plan and eliminating your muscle imbalances at a healthy pace. Because sciatica sufferers often need to reduce their pain significantly before beginning to address the causes, we'll begin with some general lifestyle tips which, combined with the exercises and stretches that we recommend for immediate relief, will prepare you for the final part of our program, complete sciatica control. Bridges to relief. Responding to pain. We work every day with people who are experiencing severe, sometimes debilitating pain. And while we all know that pain negatively impacts our hobbies and our activities, it's astounding to realize just how profoundly chronic pain can change our moods, our attitudes, and our outlooks on life in general. Therefore, it's very important that while you're taking the crucial steps to addressing both the immediate and ultimate causes of your sciatic pain, you also make the decision to cope with the mental and emotional side of pain as well. As anyone who has ever experienced back pain or severe headaches can tell you, stress and negativity exacerbate the situation. Do what you can to remove yourself from stressful circumstances as you begin the pain relief process, and be conscious of how your choices can affect your mental well-being. If you're running late or just having a bad day, remember that even when circumstances are beyond your control, your response to them isn't. Stay positive and focus on improvement. You can think of your pain as a sort of check engine light for your body. By the time it comes on, there's already a problem. Most of these problems, both for your body and for your vehicle, can be prevented by routine maintenance. Once we're alerted to the problem, we may need the help of an expert to get back on the road, but we must learn to take charge of our day-to-day care. That's what this problem is all about. So let's dedicate a few minutes to some whole body health tips which can prepare you for the stretches that follow, as well as outlining some long-term habits for cultivating your physical well-being. Whole body health. Warm up to prevent injury. Let's take that comparison between your body and an engine one step farther. Just as an engine operates more smoothly once it is warmed up, your body also stands a chance of being damaged if you put too much strain on it too quickly. This is true in both the short and the long term. In order for your body to heal well, you will need to discontinue your current fitness routine and take a break from any athletic hobbies that you currently have until you have relieved your pain and corrected your muscle imbalances. Take the time to begin this process slowly and deliberately, and you'll be able to work up to a healthier, more balanced version of your current routine. You also need to make sure that you are sufficiently warmed up before doing any of the stretches or exercises in our program. A hot shower or a short walk is all it takes. And when you return to more rigorous exercise, you'll be able to use the individual relief plan that we're going to help you construct to prepare your body and prevent the development of further muscle imbalances. Hydration. By putting our exercise routines and athletic hobbies on hold, we can remove a potential cause of pain. Hopefully, temporarily eliminating these activities will relieve your pain and begin the healing process. But we also need to watch what we're putting into our bodies when addressing sciatic pain. Hydration is critical to health, and dehydration is just as prevalent among otherwise healthy individuals as muscle imbalances. There are very few people who drink sufficient water throughout the day to allow their body to heal and function with ideal efficiency. Dehydration slows the healing process of all soft tissue injuries. This is a particular problem for anybody suffering from a bulging or herniated disc. Just as many well-intentioned people resolve to get back in shape only to wind up injured on account of rapidly subjecting their bodies to unusual strain, many who decide to combat dehydration attempt to meet their daily water requirements by downing 4 or 5 glasses of water twice a day. However, you can receive better benefit from your water consumption and make fewer trips to the bathroom if you drink the recommended 64 ounces throughout your day. Keep a reusable water bottle near you at all times and use a tap-mounted or pitcher-style filter rather than spending money and creating waste with bottled water. Nutrition. To heal damaged tissue and build muscle, you need to eat well. Concentrate on adding a wide variety of fruits and vegetables to your diet. Remember that the nutritional value of a food is almost totally inversely proportional to the amount of preparation that has been done to it before you buy it. The fresher your food, the healthier. In addition to a well-balanced diet, physicians recommend a daily multivitamin, which will ensure that you get everything your body needs, even if your diet isn't perfect. Sciatica sufferers who are overweight should know that, for right now at least, your back problems should be your primary focus. Eat well, but correct your muscle imbalances before taking on any unusual diet restrictions or additional exercise. Posture. If your most prominent daily activities aggravate your sciatica, part of the long-term solution to your pain will be to involve deliberate changes in the way that you handle long periods in a sustained posture. First, take the time to figure out how many hours per day you spend doing each of these common activities: sitting, standing, driving, and sleeping. Do what you can to vary your posture throughout the day by standing and walking around your office for 5 minutes every hour, or doing a few decompression exercises after spending an hour on your feet. If your work demands that you maintain a similar posture throughout the day, be sure that the way you spend your leisure time is not making matters worse. If sleeping causes you problems, try sleeping on your side rather than on your back or stomach. A firmer mattress will also provide your spine with more support and help reduce unnatural curvature. Additionally, a less fluffy pillow will help prevent strain on your neck, and a folded towel or blanket placed beneath your hips will help prevent your pelvis, the heaviest part of your body, from sinking too far into your mattress. Rest, relaxation, and sleep. With the exception of severe trauma, we never recommend that someone with sciatic pain devotes more than a couple days to bed rest. And even then, the only value in bed rest is allowing the inflammation from muscle strain or disc damage to go down. You should always start slow, but to do nothing at all is to allow already underused muscles to continue to atrophy. If we're going to get any value from rest, relaxation, and sleep, we need to ensure that they are properly defined. Rest does not mean idleness or stagnation. It means taking a break from doing what you already spend most of your time doing. For many of us, we already spend most of our days sitting down, so taking a break doesn't mean surfing the web. It means standing up and doing a few laps around the room. Similarly, relaxation should not mean plopping down on the couch and watching television. Relaxation is actively working against stress by engaging in deliberately calming activities like walking, hiking, swimming, or meditating. Relaxation is never just passively avoiding stress by distracting ourselves with a sensational book or the evening news. If we want to be physically and mentally healthy, we're even going to have to change the way that we think about sleep. It's not enough to sleep as much as we can when we can. Instead, you should focus on getting 6 to 8 hours of sleep on a regular schedule. Many studies suggest that the regularity of your bedtime and wake-up time are just as, if not more critical to your feeling well rested than how long you sleep. Natural pain relief. We never recommend that anyone treat their sciatic pain with medication as a long-term solution. Even a basic anti-inflammatory medication, like bed rest, should only be used briefly and only as a means of preparing yourself for the stretches and exercises that will address the cause of your pain rather than the symptoms. If your sciatic pain is the result of severe or long neglected trauma or a hereditary condition, you will need to learn how to manage your pain even after your muscle imbalances have been made less severe. Deliberate deep breathing can give you focus, distract you from your pain, and increase your circulation simultaneously. The most basic method of conscious breathing is to sit up straight and allow the lungs to fill to capacity from the belly and then up to the chest. Then inhale deep and long through your nose and push the air out through your mouth while contracting your abdominal muscles. Depending on what feels best, you can keep your spine stationary or arch your back as you exhale. Similarly, hot and cold compresses can help to reduce inflammation without the negative side effects of drugs. If heating pads, time in a hot tub, or hot showers help to relieve your pain, then by all means, use these methods to prepare your body for exercises or ease your pain throughout the day. Beginning a pain relief routine. Now that we've discussed a number of tactics to aid you in your relief process, let's transition into the pain relief routines that we've created for each of the 4 common causes of sciatic pain. Each of these routines is right around 5 minutes long, and in every case, your ultimate goal will be to perform the routine that you've chosen from start to finish twice a day. During each routine, we're also going to show you advanced forms of some stretches that will give you a greater challenge once you're ready for it. Feel free to transition into these advanced stretches and exercises as you see fit, but otherwise you'll be holding your stretch throughout our explanation. Before you begin, there are just a few things we need to mention which will be absolutely critical to your success. Take things slow. On your first time through this program, you may only feel comfortable performing the first 30 seconds or the first minute of the routine, and that's just fine. While you may be excited to finally begin our pain relief stretches, you should remember that if you put too much strain on your body too quickly, your pain may increase. Add a repetition or a new exercise every few days, but always give your body time to respond to the new addition. You may even have to back off a bit if you find that you've added too many stretches or repetitions at once. Make the time. If you truly wish to live a pain-free life, you need to devote your time to maintaining your health. Know that it may take you a few weeks to work up to completing the entire routine twice each day, and that this slow buildup is perfectly normal. On the other hand, you may find that the routine will begin to provide nearly complete pain relief long before you've reached that final goal. We encourage you to continue using the routine until you can successfully complete the routine twice daily before moving on to the second half of this DVD and the final part of our program. Pay attention to your body. Always remember to warm up your body before beginning any exercise, even if it's only a short stretching routine. A hot shower or a few hours of normal activity around your house should be enough to prepare your body. Finally, remember that pain is a form of communication from your body. If adding a repetition or new stretch causes your pain to increase, you may need to scale back your routine for a few days. Use the natural pain relief methods that we've already discussed in conjunction with your daily stretch and exercise routine to get the best possible results. Once again, you should only complete as much of the routine as you're comfortable with. We're going to hold most of these stretches for 30 seconds, and while it's important to challenge yourself to perform a meaningful stretch, we do not want you overdoing it. Feel free to begin by holding the stretch for 10 or 15 seconds, but promise yourself that you will work on getting to the point where you can hold them for the full 30 seconds. You should also keep in mind that if you are unsure of which of the 4 common causes of sciatica is the root of your pain, you can always skip ahead to our universal relief stretches, a separate, similarly short routine which will provide quick relief for almost anyone who suffers from lower back pain. Relieving pain caused by piriformis syndrome. We'll start by standing up straight with our feet shoulder width apart. Now take a few good deep breaths. Concentrate on allowing your lungs to fill completely, opening up your chest and leaning back as necessary to accommodate the expansion of your lungs. Remember to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Alright, after a few good breaths, let's begin marching in place. Keep your movement smooth here, avoiding any jerking motion of the arms or legs. As you march, continue to breathe deeply and deliberately. The goal here isn't to get your heart pounding or to burn calories, but merely to prepare your body for stretching and mild exercise. Find a comfortable range of motion for both your arms and legs, and then slowly expand that range of motion to engage the surrounding muscle groups. Nothing you do here should aggravate your pain in any way. Once again, stand still with your legs shoulder width apart, and we'll close our warm-up with 5 more deep, deliberate breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now we're ready to begin our routine. These first few stretches involve a figure 4 position with one foot on top of the opposite leg. Depending on your results from the piriformis test on the previous disc, and just from your experience with your own pain, you'll have a good idea whether one side of your body has a tighter piriformis or if both sides are affected equally. Figure 4. For this first stretch, you can sit in a chair or on the floor. Sitting in a chair will be easier for those who are less flexible. Lift the foot of the affected leg onto the opposite knee. Now, put a firm but slow and even pressure on the knee of the affected leg and push down until you can feel the stretch in your gluteal muscles. The top leg in these stretches will always be the affected leg. If your piriformis syndrome affects both sides of your body, be sure to stretch them evenly by pausing the video and repeating each set of exercises or stretches on the opposite side. Hold the stretch right there for at least a 10 count with the ultimate goal of working up to 2 30-second repetitions. Then ease up, place both legs on the floor, and either switch sides or perform the same stretch again. This is a great stretch to do at your desk during the day, but there are a couple more challenging permutations of the stretch that provide even greater relief. You can modify this stretch by keeping the lower leg straight and moving the affected foot up or down. Remember to breathe slowly and deeply as you stretch. Breathing is very important. Supine figure 4. Lie on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. Again, lift your affected leg and place your foot on the opposite knee. Similarly to the seated figure 4, push down on your knee until you feel a solid stretch. Put pressure on the knee slowly and evenly, and then hold for 30 seconds. Remember to relax, and as always, breathe deeply. Holding your breath or being tense will only make healing harder. And then come out of the stretch slowly and gently. Altered supine figure 4. Provided that you have healthy hips, you can alter this stretch simply by pulling the knee of the affected leg across your body rather than pushing. Put pressure on the knee slowly and evenly. Remember to breathe deeply and relax. Slowly release and come out of the stretch. Advanced Supine Figure 4. This final stretch is one that lots of our customers and physical therapists that we know rave about. Remaining on your back, still with the foot of the affected leg on the opposite knee, reach around and grab your shin. Allow yourself to slowly rock backwards, pulling your knee into your chest. You should feel a really great stretch in your gluteal region. This definitely might be a stretch that you need to work up to, but it's likely to give you exactly the relief that you need. Remember to breathe deeply and relax. And then slowly release and come out of the stretch. Piriformis leg tuck. Begin by getting on all fours. Keep in mind as you get in position that you'll want to end up with the affected leg under you. Rotate your lower legs out to the opposite side of the affected leg. Now lift the forward leg, the one on the side to which you rotated, and bring it back until you can sort of put it in the position you would be in during a push-up. Now slowly lower your body down onto the affected leg and hold this stretch for 30 seconds. You can increase the difficulty of this stretch by moving the front leg forward and by holding the stretch for longer. This stretch uses your body weight to stretch your piriformis in order to relieve the pressure that's being placed on your sciatic nerve. This is an advanced stretch, so make sure that you avoid strain and take your time getting out of it. Take a short break, or as long as you need, and then perform the same stretch once more. Remember to breathe steadily the entire time, and feel free to relax down onto your elbows if it helps you stretch better. And then come out of your stretch slowly and carefully. Supine crossover. Lie on your back with your legs spaced comfortably and your shoulders on the floor. Spread your arms out perpendicular to your body. Then, keeping the rest of your body as stationary as possible, raise the affected leg straight up and then pivot at the hip to move it across your body. Reach the leg toward the floor while keeping your shoulders down. Relax out of the stretch gently, take a short break, and then repeat it once more for another 30 seconds. You can also increase the stretch by using your hand to gently push down on your raised knee. And then relax out of the stretch slowly. Altered supine crossover. Once again, begin by lying on your back, but this time keep your feet flat on the floor. Raise the knee of the affected leg and pull it into and across your chest, holding it in place with both hands. Hold this stretch for at least 10 seconds, and if you intend to stretch both legs, be sure to come all the way out of the stretch before repeating with the alternate leg. As always, remember to keep breathing deep, full breaths. And then release and come out of the stretch slowly. Relieving pain caused by a bulging or herniated disc. We'll start by standing up straight with our feet shoulder width apart. Now take a few good deep breaths. Concentrate on allowing your lungs to fill completely, opening up your chest and leaning back as necessary to accommodate the expansion of your lungs. Remember to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Alright, after a few good breaths, let's begin marching in place. Keep your movement smooth here, avoiding any jerking motion of the arms or legs. As you march, continue to breathe deeply and deliberately. The goal here isn't to get your heart pounding or to burn calories, but merely to prepare your body for stretching and mild exercise. Find a comfortable range of motion for both your arms and legs, and then slowly expand that range of motion to engage the surrounding muscle groups. Nothing you do here should aggravate your pain in any way. Once again, stand still with your legs shoulder width apart, and we'll close our warm-up with 5 more deep, deliberate breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now we're ready to begin our routine. Whenever we attempt to relieve pain arising from a bulging or herniated disc, we need to keep in mind that the common denominator of our immediate relief exercises will be decompression. Even without any intervention, a bulging disc will typically heal within 3 to 6 months, provided that you don't aggravate the injury. However, we want relief much sooner than that. So we're going to perform some stretches which will alleviate pain while increasing blood flow to the affected disc. First, we're going to show you once again how to use an exercise ball to achieve some pain-relieving decompression. The type of exercise ball that we use is available at any sporting goods or department store for around $10. If this particular stretch wasn't effective for you during the identification section of the first part of our program, feel free to sit this one out. Decompression with an exercise ball. Begin by lying face down on the ball with your feet comfortably wide for balance, and then roll forward on the ball until it's just in front of your hips. Then slowly relax your upper body and round out your back over the curve of the ball. Use your hands to brace yourself and lower your body as far as is comfortable. Remain in this position for 30 seconds. When stretching the spine, it's more important than ever to make sure you breathe deeply the entire time. Then reverse the process to slowly get out of the stretch. Prone prop. There are many ways to perform this next stretch, so feel free to modify it in any way that you see fit. The goal is to reduce your pain by taking some pressure off the nerves of your lower back. So as you perform this stretch, look for your pain to reduce locally with the relief beginning in your lower legs and gradually working up through your thighs and back. Remember to work at your own pace and only increase the difficulty of a stretch when you're ready. Patience is key if you want to isolate which activities cause your pain to flare and which activities bring you relief. Begin by lying down on your stomach. If simply lying on your stomach on a hard surface brings you relief, then feel free to do this for 30-second intervals until you're ready to move on to more demanding stretches. Simply move your arms in with your hands next to your head and gently lift your upper body, keeping your elbows on the floor. Make sure that your legs stay relaxed and your pelvis stays on the floor. Raise yourself to a comfortable height where you begin to feel the stretch in your lower back, and remain there for 30 seconds. Keep in mind that having your head to one side or the other may cause additional problems, so you'll want to keep your nose down to prevent strain on your neck and cervical vertebrae. As this stretch ceases to be challenging, you can take it to the next level by beginning in the push-up position and fully extending your arms. If you have the necessary strength and flexibility, you can continue to modify this stretch by placing a pillow under your stomach, linking your hands behind your back, and lifting your head and chest to look at the ceiling. Standing extension stretch. Place your hands on your hips, and keeping your lower body stationary, tilt back your upper body, beginning with your neck and slowly working your way down your back. If balance becomes an issue, you can do the same stretch using a wall. This is a great stretch for you to repeat throughout the day. And remember that hydration is absolutely critical to the healing of a bulging or herniated disc. Hold this position for at least 10 seconds or as long as half a minute before gently returning to an upright position. You are now 1/3 of the way through your pain relief routine for a bulging or herniated disc. Take a break if you need it, and then play this chapter twice more for a total of 3 repetitions to complete your routine. Relieving pain caused by spinal stenosis. We'll start by standing up straight with our feet shoulder width apart. Now take a few good deep breaths. Concentrate on allowing your lungs to fill completely, opening up your chest and leaning back as necessary to accommodate the expansion of your lungs. Remember to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Alright, after a few good breaths, let's begin marching in place. Keep your movement smooth here, avoiding any jerking motion of the arms or legs. As you march, continue to breathe deeply and deliberately. The goal here isn't to get your heart pounding or to burn calories, but merely to prepare your body for stretching and mild exercise. Find a comfortable range of motion for both your arms and legs, and then slowly expand that range of motion to engage the surrounding muscle groups. Nothing you do here should aggravate your pain in any way. Once again, stand still with your legs shoulder width apart, and we'll close our warm-up with 5 more deep, deliberate breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now we're ready to begin our routine. The shopping cart test we use to identify spinal stenosis in the first part of the program brings relief through flexion, that forward bending of the spine. To relieve the pain associated with spinal stenosis, we're going to perform some stretches to relieve the tightness in the muscles associated with extension, bending backward, as well as a couple that will strengthen the muscles associated with flexion, pulling your upper body forward. We'll start with the stretches so that you can experience the pain relief necessary to allow you to do the later exercises comfortably. Simple flexion stretches. We'll begin with simple flexion stretches, so find a stable surface a bit higher than your waist, plant your hands shoulder width apart, and slowly arch your back. If you have a solid, stable grip, you can even ease backward farther, pulling away from your anchor and allowing your body weight to give you a greater stretch. This is a great stretch to use for quick relief throughout your day. For an advanced version of this stretch, begin on your hands and knees. Then, while keeping your palms fixed, slowly rock backward and sit on your heels, bringing your chin to your knees. Hold this stretch for 30 seconds, and then slowly ease out of the stretch to return to an upright position. Supine stretch and strengthen. Begin by lying on your back with your arms out and slowly raising your legs up until they are perpendicular to your body. And then bend your knees and bring them in toward your chest. Move your arms in to hold and pull your knees. This stretches the same muscles as the simple flexion stretches, while also demanding a bit of work from your abdominals. Add a challenge to this stretch by keeping your arms out and alternately lifting your knees to your chest from either the bent knee or fully extended position for some additional strengthening work. Hold for 30 seconds and then reverse the stretch. Strengthening abdominals. Finally, let's do a few exercises that will give you relief by strengthening the muscles which oppose those which are tightening and altering the curvature of your lower back. These exercises are going to provide relatively quick relief by beginning to address your muscle imbalances, something that we're going to focus on in a lot more depth in part 3 of the natural sciatica relief system. The easiest exercise for strengthening your abdominals is simple static crunches. Lie on your back with your legs flat on the floor. Give your abdominals some simple exercise by contracting your abs and holding for a 5 count. Think of this motion as a sort of sucking in your gut or pushing your belly button toward the floor. If holding this position is difficult for you, begin with 5 repetitions of 2 or 3 seconds each, but you'll eventually work up to 10 repetitions of 5 seconds each. Once you can do this without a problem, increase the difficulty by involving a few more of the surrounding muscles. Remaining in the same position, lift one heel just a few inches off the ground as you push your belly button to the floor. Hold for a quick 2 count and then lower that leg and raise the other simultaneously. Again, hold the heel just a couple inches off the floor, 1, 2, and then switch. Curl-ups. Once you can definitely feel your pain receding, try doing a few sets of true curl-ups. Keep your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor as you use your lower abdominals, not your legs, to raise your upper body. Touch your elbows, which are crossed on your chest, to your thighs and ease back down. Be sure to perform your curl-ups slowly and deliberately, using your abdominals to raise your upper body rather than your legs. This is especially important to remember if you use an object or a partner to hold your feet in place. Be careful not to demand too much of your body too quickly. Begin with a 5 curl-up set a couple times each day and make sure that your level of pain does not increase throughout the remainder of the day. Work up to a set of 25 good curl-ups. You are now 1/3 of the way through your pain relief routine for spinal stenosis. Take a break if you need it and then play this chapter twice more for a total of 3 repetitions to complete your routine. Relieving pain caused by spondylolisthesis. We'll start by standing up straight with our feet shoulder width apart. Now take a few good deep breaths. Concentrate on allowing your lungs to fill completely, opening up your chest and leaning back as necessary to accommodate the expansion of your lungs. Remember to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Alright, after a few good breaths, let's begin marching in place. Keep your movements smooth here, avoiding any jerking motion of the arms or legs. As you march, continue to breathe deeply and deliberately. The goal here isn't to get your heart pounding or to burn calories, but merely to prepare your body for stretching and mild exercise. Find a comfortable range of motion for both your arms and legs, and then slowly expand that range of motion to engage the surrounding muscle groups. Nothing you do here should aggravate your pain in any way. Once again, stand still with your legs shoulder width apart, and we'll close our warm-up with 5 more deep, deliberate breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now we're ready to begin our routine. Stretches and exercises used to treat spondylolisthesis are similar to those used to treat spinal stenosis in that they focus on flexion. Because spondylolisthesis is a slippage of the vertebra, our goal will be to stabilize the spine while stretching and strengthening the muscles of the lower abs and the back that, when imbalanced, exacerbate the problem. Pelvic tilt stretches. For this first exercise, you'll need a rolled up bath towel. Fold the outer edges in so that they meet in the middle and then roll from one end. Put a couple rubber bands around the towel so that you don't have to re-roll it every time. Now, to get an idea of what a pelvic tilt feels like, place your hands in your hips and feel what happens when you round out the lower part of your spine. You'll feel your pelvis tilt just slightly, and you may feel some almost immediate pain relief. Begin this exercise by lying on your back. Bring your knees in toward your chest until you can place the towel under your pelvis just below the base of your spine and at the top of your sacrum. Now, perform a pelvic tilt by rounding out your spine and pushing your belly button in and upward. Hold this position for 5 seconds and then repeat. You should be able to put your hand under your back and feel your spine come down to fill the gap when you perform the tilt. Hold each tilt for 5 seconds and then repeat this exercise 6 times. Lying march. While still on your back, you can transition into the lying march. Depending on what feels best, you may want to remove the towel for this exercise. Keep your knees bent, but point your arms directly toward the ceiling. Use your abdominal muscles to lift one knee at a time while simultaneously moving the opposite arm toward the floor so that your bicep is next to your ear. Try to march in this manner for 30 seconds. Concentrate on your form as you do this exercise. Your goal should be to do a small number of good repetitions rather than a greater number of sloppy repetitions. Once 30 seconds have passed, rest briefly and then move on to the next stretch. Back to wall arm raises. Stand with your back to the wall and your feet shoulder width apart. While keeping your lower back firm against the wall, slowly raise your arms forward and upward. Once you have your arms as high as is comfortable, hold them for 5 seconds before slowly bringing them back down to your sides. Repeat this exercise 5 times, keeping in mind that your feet should remain flat on the ground and your lower back flat on the wall. Feel free to alter the starting position of your feet to make this exercise easier, but strive to move them closer to the wall over time. Remember, always maintain deep, relaxing breathing. Plank exercise. Lie face down on the floor with your weight on your toes and your elbows. Straighten your back as you would for a push-up, keeping your upper arm at a 90-degree angle with your lower arm. This is an advanced exercise, so be sure to add it to your routine gradually while watching out for any change in your pain level. You will feel this exercise work your entire abdomen. For a challenge, you can try adding a sideline plank to your routine. Again, with your elbow at a 90-degree angle, straighten your body so that your weight is on your forearm and the side of your foot. Just remember to perform this challenging exercise on both sides of your body evenly. You are now half of the way through your pain relief routine for spondylolisthesis. Take a short break if you need it, and then play this chapter once more for a total of 2 repetitions to complete your routine. Universal relief stretches and exercises. We'll start by standing up straight with our feet shoulder width apart. Now take a few good deep breaths. Concentrate on allowing your lungs to fill completely, opening up your chest and leaning back as necessary to accommodate the expansion of your lungs. Remember to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Alright, after a few good breaths, let's begin marching in place. Keep your movement smooth here, avoiding any jerking motion of the arms or legs. As you march, continue to breathe deeply and deliberately. The goal here isn't to get your heart pounding or to burn calories, but merely to prepare your body for stretching and mild exercise. Find a comfortable range of motion for both your arms and legs, and then slowly expand that range of motion to engage the surrounding muscle groups. Nothing you do here should aggravate your pain in any way. Once again, stand still with your legs shoulder width apart, and we'll close our warm-up with 5 more deep, deliberate breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now we're ready to begin our routine. This final stretch routine can be used by anyone who's unsure of the cause of their lower back pain, and anyone using the previously presented routines who wants to vary their schedule a little bit. As with the earlier exercises and stretches that we've shown, you need to be careful to take things slowly with a new exercise or routine, adding repetitions only after you're confident that your present level of activity provides relief. This routine is about the same length as the previous cause-specific routines, but will only involve a single repetition. Feel free to do the routine in its entirety, or to pick out a single exercise which seems to work especially well for you, and use that exercise to provide relief between your exercise sessions. This first series of introductory stretches will help you to loosen up before we proceed to more challenging stretches. Begin by sitting with your legs out straight in front of you. Bend one leg and use your arms to pull your knee into your chest. Once you feel a stretch, hold for a 10 count and then switch legs and perform the same stretch on the opposite side. Now, lie on your back with your arms on either side of your pelvis, palms down for support. Keep your knees bent and use your abdominal muscles to lift your heels straight off the ground and hold them there for 5 seconds. Lower the heels slowly, and then, without touching your heels to the ground, lift them again and repeat the 5 count. Repeat this process 5 times. When your 5 are up, relax into a short break. Now, sit on the floor with your feet flat against a wall. Place your arms behind you on either side of your body and arch your back, pressing your chest toward the ceiling and tilting your pelvis forward. And because this is another challenging stretch, you may feel slight or even significant pain down your leg. Stop when you need to stop. For those who can handle a more challenging stretch here, try putting your hands behind your head and leaning forward, bringing your elbows in and arching your back as you bring your chin into your chest. Next, you'll transition onto your back again. This time, you'll lie flat and then bring one knee up to your chest, using your arms to hold the leg in place and draw it further in if necessary. Keep your body as flat as possible, using your abdominals to lift the leg, feeling the stretch in your buttocks and rounded lower back. Switch legs and hold the stretch on the other side for another 10 seconds. Sitting up again, with both legs out straight, Lean forward, arching your back one vertebra at a time and reaching toward your toes with your hands. Go down far enough to get a good stretch and then hold this position for 30 seconds. Make sure your knees stay locked and that your back is nicely arched. Be sure to reverse the stretch slowly as you transition out of it. Advanced stretches. Let's begin the advanced stretches by sitting in a chair, preferably one where your legs can dangle a bit. Now, slowly straighten the leg on the side where you experience sciatic pain while tilting your head upwards to look at the ceiling. Hold your leg in this position for 30 seconds. You will probably feel some tightness as you raise the leg, and perhaps even a bit of the radiating irritation down your leg which you experience during a sciatica flare-up. Provided that the irritation is mild to tolerable, continue to hold this stretch. This stretch may be difficult, but for many, the relief that follows makes it well worth it. The next stretch will require you to lie on your back again with your knees bent. Begin by taking the affected leg, the leg on the side of your body where your pain is the most acute, and put the ankle on the opposite knee. Then reach through that figure 4 that you just made and grab the underside of your thigh and pull the knee to your chest. You will be holding the stretch for 30 seconds, but you can make it more challenging in a couple different ways. Try grabbing your shin rather than your thigh for a more significant stretch. You can also modify this stretch by moving the affected leg over so that the knees are crossed. You'll then want to reach over both legs to grab the knee of the lower leg. After 30 seconds, release your leg, slowly transition out of the stretch, and repeat this stretch with the other leg if necessary. Relaxation stretches. Alright, let's end this routine with a few stretches that will help you relax and cool down before we finish the routine. If any of these positions are uncomfortable for you, feel free to work up to them or sit them out for a while. Let's begin by once again lying on our backs with our knees bent and our feet flat on the floor. Lift your right leg up, keeping the knee bent. Now slowly straighten your leg and feel the stretch. Hold this position for 5 seconds and then slowly bend your knee again. Feel free to clasp your hands in order to stabilize your thigh. We're going to repeat this stretch 5 times on each side, but you can easily modify it for an even better stretch. At the top of your stretch, try adding some foot flexion to increase the strength of the stretch. After 5 repetitions, switch legs and do precisely the same thing. Lift that bent leg, stabilize with your hands, and then extend the leg. Hold for 5 seconds, slowly reset and repeat. We'll do this 5 times with each leg. Don't forget, keep breathing deeply and relax as you stretch. Now, with your legs about shoulder width apart, you'll bend at the knees and slowly begin to crisscross your legs, alternating which is in front. Left behind right and right behind left. Every 2 crosses is a single repetition, and we'll do 10 repetitions in our first set, and as we go along, we'll be able to gradually expand our range of motion and speed. After 10 repetitions, we'll pause, straighten our legs, and rest for a moment. Then get back into position and perform another set of 10 repetitions. As you do this exercise, you'll want to refrain from straining your neck by turning your head to one side or the other. So use your arms to prop your forehead and keep your nose down. Again, we'll stop, straighten our legs, rest briefly, and do a third and final set of 10 repetitions. Keep in mind that this is a cool down stretch, so you aren't trying to push yourself for greater speed or range of motion. You're simply trying to get a good stretch. Now we'll return to our backs for one final stretch. Again, we'll begin with our knees bent and our feet flat on the floor. Keeping your shoulders flat on the floor and perhaps using your arms for balance, rotate your knees to the left. Your knees should be touching with the left knee touching the floor if possible. If this is enough of a stretch for you, that is just fine. For those who would like an advanced version of this stretch, simply move the top leg so that the knee drops over the opposite leg to the floor. You can use your hands to get a bit more out of this stretch by pressing down on your right knee with your left hand and further assisting the stretch with your right hand on your buttock. Once the 30 seconds is up, we're going to slowly get out of this stretch and switch sides. Remember as you settle into the stretch again that you may not have the same range of motion with both legs, but the disparity will decrease over time. Again, we're holding this stretch for 30 seconds before slowly returning to the simple supine position. This brings us to the end of the Universal Relief Stretches and Exercises routine. Feel free to repeat this routine in the morning and evening, but as we mentioned earlier, you should not try to add this routine on top of any of the other routines in this program. Doing too much too quickly will hinder your recovery process, so be sure to take things slow and pay attention to your body's responses to new activities. Creating an individual relief plan. Introduction. The final part of the Natural Sciatica Relief Program is called Complete Sciatica Control, and it's designed to help you correct the muscle imbalances which are the root cause of almost all sciatic pain. In the next few minutes, we're going to help you identify which muscle imbalances you have, which will give you the information you need to proceed to the final part of our program. We advise you to go through this part of the program only if 1. You're able to perform an entire pain relief routine from start to finish twice every day for a week without causing your sciatic pain to flare up. Or 2. You have been using the Complete Sciatica Control program as directed for at least a month since you last identified your muscle imbalances and you wish to assess your progress. You need to know that correcting your muscle imbalances is not only going to ease your sciatic pain, but it's also going to help correct your posture, delay or ease the onset of arthritis, and decrease the likelihood of future injury to your back. Remember that everyone who has not deliberately sought to correct them has muscle imbalances, regardless of their level of fitness. The imbalances which specifically lead to sciatic pain, the ones we're going to help you identify today, are those which exaggerate the curvature of the spine or cause a misalignment of the pelvis. At the beginning of each of the following segments, we'll describe the muscle imbalance to you and show you how to identify it visually, and then we'll proceed to some quick physical methods of identification. As we guide you through the process of identifying your imbalances, be sure to follow along in your workbook and take notes on the outcomes of each of the various tests. Finally, because the physical assessments will involve some stretching, be sure you are warmed up before you begin. Using photographic identification. Just as it's always a good idea to get a second opinion regarding a medical diagnosis, it's important to use multiple methods to identify your muscle imbalances. So before you go any further, pause now and use a camera with a timer to take some photos of yourself or ask a partner to take them for you. Here are the steps to take the photos you need. Wearing close-fitting athletic shorts and a tight shirt or sports bra, stand on a hard, flat surface. Put your arms down with your hands at your side and stand comfortably. Holding the camera at approximately waist height, get a few well-lit pictures of yourself from the front, back, and either side. These photos may make identifying your imbalances much quicker and will help you measure your progress. So take the time to get them now and have them on hand as you watch the rest of this part of the program. Keep in mind that if you have been using the pain relief routines for a number of weeks, you may be well on your way to correcting your muscle imbalances. This may make identifying them via photograph a little more difficult, but it also means that your dedication has paid off and you are healthier for it. Because it is very common for people to have multiple muscle imbalances contributing to their sciatic pain, it's important that you watch the entirety of this part of the program and make sure to take good notes. Identifying the hunched shoulders imbalance. Introduction. Hunched shoulders are the result of having an imbalance between the muscles in your chest and your upper back. This imbalance can result from generally poor posture, especially in those who work at a computer and keep their chest muscles slightly tensed throughout the day. Because the chest is an area that many people focus on in workouts, this imbalance can be further exaggerated when one strengthens their chest deliberately while neglecting the corresponding muscles in their upper back. Photographic identification. Let's begin by taking a look for possible photographic evidence that you may suffer from the hunched or forward shoulders imbalance. Look at the right and left profile pictures and see how your upper body looks when relaxed. Are your shoulders rounded and pulled forward with your arms sort of rotated inward? Is your head slightly forward with your ears no longer over your shoulders where they should be, but drawn forward by the tension in your chest? If the answer to these questions is yes, then you need to take steps to strengthen the muscles in your back and increase the flexibility of the muscles in your chest. The curvature of the spine caused by hunched shoulders aggravates many types of back pain and causes additional problems in the cervical vertebrae, often resulting in neck and headaches. Physical assessments. Now we'll use some physical assessments to confirm the photographic evidence. After each of the physical assessments, be sure to note your results so that you can measure your improvement over time. Supine pectoral stretch. Begin by lying down on your back with your legs extending. Bend your arms at the elbows and join your hands under your head. Now relax. When you relax, your arms should come down and rest comfortably on the floor. If they don't, it's because the tension in your chest and the weakness in your shoulders is preventing them from doing so. This is a good indicator that you have this muscle imbalance. Prone arm lift. Next, you'll need to roll over onto your stomach. Stretch your arms out perpendicular to your body and make a fist with a thumbs up. Now, keeping your chest on the floor, use your back to lift your fists upward. If you can't lift your hands more than 2 or 3 inches above the floor, then the muscles in your upper back are unable to overcome the tension in your chest. Overhead arm lift. Now we'll modify this stretch slightly by raising your arms over your head. Once again, make a fist with your thumbs up and lift those fists off the floor without raising your head or chest. If you're only able to raise them 2 or 3 inches, this is one more confirmation that you have a hunched shoulders muscle imbalance. Standing pectoral stretch. Finally, we'll do a standing pectoral stretch. Find a doorway or a corner where you can stand with your arm bent and your palm and elbow flat on the surface while still in line with your shoulder. Now rotate your body away from your arm and you'll begin to feel a stretch in your chest. How far can you extend your body before you feel a tightness or pain? If you have a significantly limited range of motion, this is one more warning sign that you have a muscle imbalance in your chest and upper back. Identifying the elevated hip imbalance. Introduction. An elevated hip occurs when muscle imbalances result in one side of your pelvis appearing to be higher than the other. This common postural and muscular problem can result in uneven wear on the joints and tendons, and even cause the sufferer to feel as though one of his legs is shorter than the other. Photographic identification. For this photographic assessment, the pictures you took of yourself directly from the front and back will be the most helpful. Provided that your shirt and shorts were form-fitting enough, you may be able to see a visible difference in the height of your hips. You may want to use a straight edge to draw a line to further exaggerate the visibility of any tilt in your pelvis. This should give you a good idea of whether you have an elevated hip and which one it is. Note your initial finding and compare it to the results of the physical assessments that follow. Physical assessments. We'll start the physical assessments with a simple test that may provide you with further visual indication of an elevated hip. You'll want to stand in front of a mirror for this test or be prepared to take another picture of yourself. Bend test. Stand comfortably with your feet shoulder width apart. Place your hands in your hips, but with your thumbs in front and your fingers curled around your waist. Now, slowly bend forward until you feel your thumbs sort of fall into a groove in your torso. Keep your hands in place as you straighten back up. Now, take a look in the mirror or look at the photograph you took. Is one thumb higher than the other? Is there a significant difference between the height of the two? If one thumb is higher, you have a good indication which is your elevated hip. Inner thigh stretch. Now, for the second assessment, begin in a wide stance with your legs straight and your hands on your hips. Begin bending one knee and lowering yourself to that side as far as is comfortable while keeping both feet planted. You will begin to feel restriction coming from your inner thigh. Note how far you can lower yourself before it becomes uncomfortable, and then repeat this stretch on the other side. You may notice a significant difference in your flexibility from side to side. If the hip you have previously identified as being elevated is on the same side as the less flexible inner thigh, then you have one more confirmation that you have a high hip imbalance on this side of your body. Lower back bend. This last test is called a lower back bend. Begin seated in a chair, raise one arm over your head, and then bend to the side, reaching your hand over your head. Once you feel this stretch, begin bending straight forward. Go as far as you can go and note the point at which the stretch becomes uncomfortable. Repeat this stretch on the opposite side, reaching over your head and then bending forward. The lower back muscles, which limit your range of motion in this position, will be tighter on the side of your high hip. Identifying a forward or backward tilting pelvis. Introduction. The final muscle imbalance that we're going to identify in this program is a tilted pelvis. Because your muscle imbalances can cause your pelvis to be tilted forward or backward, there will be different photographic and physical assessments for each. An unusual tilt in the pelvis can cause a whole host of difficulties, beginning with altering the natural curvature of your spine. Once an imbalance forms, the tendency is for it to become worse over time unless we deliberately change our lifestyle to counteract it. We'll begin our discussion of the tilted pelvis imbalance with an anterior or forward tilted pelvis. Photographic identification. Forward tilted pelvis. Once again, we're going to be dealing with the photographs you took of yourself from the left and the right. Immediate visual signs that indicate a forward tilted pelvis are a belt line that slopes forward. That is, a belt line that is higher in the back than it is in the front. You can also see evidence of a forward tilting pelvis in a general forward lean of the upper body or an extreme curvature at the small of the back. Physical assessments. Forward tilted pelvis. Pelvic point. The easiest way to physically identify a forward or backward tilted pelvis is simply to put your hands on the crest of your pelvis with your fingers forward and your thumb back. Then you can sort of grab hold of your pelvic crests. Now extend your pointer fingers. Which direction do they point? If the plane formed by your pointer finger and thumb is still parallel to the floor or straight forward, then your pelvis is probably fairly well balanced. However, if your fingers are pointed toward the floor, this is a good indicator that you have a forward tilted pelvis. If they point toward the ceiling, then the opposite, a backward tilted pelvis, is the cause. Throughout the assessment process, it's important to remember that even a healthy or neutral pelvis has a slight 5 to 10 degree anterior or forward tilt. However, any significant departure from this neutral position warrants treatment via exercise and stretches. Supine flexibility. For this next test, begin by lying down on the floor on your back with your legs bent. Now slowly lift your knees toward your chest. Using your hands, pull them in. You may feel tightness in your glutes, which prevents you from bringing your knees all the way to your chest. But if this tightness comes from your lower back, this may indicate a forward tilted pelvis. Hip flexor stretch. For this next assessment, we'll begin by going down on one knee. Then tip your pelvis backward by contracting your glutes and tightening your abdomen. You may feel some tightness in your hip flexors here. Now, holding your pelvis in this position, lean forward and test your range of motion. If you are unable to put your pelvis in this position, or your range of motion is significantly limited by your hip flexors, this is another positive test for a forward tilted pelvis. Be sure to repeat this test on the other side of your body and make sure that you don't get a false positive for this test on account of a high hip on one side. Photographic evidence, backward tilted pelvis. Moving on to the backward tilted pelvis, we'll take another look at those photographs that you've taken of yourself from the left and the right side. Once again, take a look at your waistline. Just as a forward sloping waistline is indicative of a forward tilted pelvis, a waistline that is higher in the front than in the back indicates a backward tilted pelvis. Look also at the curvature of your spine. If you see that your lower back looks flat or lacks a normal curve in your lumbar vertebrae, this also indicates that you have a backward tilted pelvis. Individuals with this imbalance may also notice that their body generally slopes or leans backward from the knees to mid-back. Physical assessments, backward tilted pelvis. Pelvic point. If you didn't before, attempt that pelvic point now by putting your hands on your pelvic crest, that ridge that we sometimes identify as our hips, and grasp that bone. Now extend your pointer fingers. If you find that you're pointing toward the ceiling, then you have found another positive indicator that you suffer from a backward tilted pelvis. Supine backrest. For the next physical assessment, lie down on the floor on your back with your legs out straight. Put your arms to your sides and relax your body. Now take one hand and feel under your lower back just above your pelvis. Individuals with a neutral spine will be able to fit their hand under this point on their back without coming out of a relaxed state. If you're unable to fit your hand under your back, this is a good indicator that you have a backward tilted pelvis. Glute flex test. For this final assessment, remain on your back, but bend your legs at the knees. Lift your right foot and place it across your left knee. Now grab your left knee and pull it toward your chest. If your movement here is restricted by a tightness in your glutes, your buttocks, then that tightness may be part of the cause of a backward tilted pelvis. Repeat this stretch on both sides and you should see a similar amount of tightness on both sides. Normally flexible glutes should allow you to bring your knee most of the distance to your chest. This marks the end of the imbalance identification part of our program. Be sure to record your findings in the workbook and watch the conclusion of this DVD before proceeding to the third part of our program, Complete Sciatica Control. Graduating to Complete Sciatica Control. Congratulations! You have successfully greatly reduced or completely eliminated your pain and identified the muscle imbalances that are the root cause of your sciatic pain. The hard work and dedication that you've already put into this program is sure to pay off, but you need to know that your journey is not yet complete. Having gotten your pain under control and identified your muscle imbalances, you now need to begin to counteract those imbalances with the third part of our program, complete sciatica control. By regularly employing the routines that we've specially designed to counteract muscle imbalances, you'll not only be making it much less likely that you'll ever suffer from lower back pain in the future, but you're also reducing your chances of uneven wear on your joints, causing arthritis, and taking steps to correct your posture. Correcting your muscle imbalances means investing in your future through whole body health. Once you enter this final phase of the natural sciatica relief system, you'll replace your previous pain relief routine with one or more routines designed to correct muscle imbalances and keep your pain away for good. Remember that as you make this transition, you should be sensitive to your body's response. Know that you'll be returning to the second part of this disc to reassess your progress at least every 3 months, and that you can use the pain relief exercises you've learned whenever you need to. Once again, congratulations on your progress. It's time to proceed to the final part of the natural sciatica relief system, complete sciatica control.